1, 2, 3, let's go.
Wednesday afternoon. Oh,
leg is Thursday of next week. The away leg against Larnaca, Cyprus, so that I don't think it will be held in Cyprus in view of the recent political situation. But the away leg will be after that, and then I think Palace should win on aggregate, and I think Glasner will stay if we actually progress towards the final or even in the final. But if we get knocked out, I think he may well then go. Anyway, that's something else. Manchester United deserved the win, but I was disappointed after a great start for Palace. And in fact, if we won there, that would have been Palace's third consecutive away league win at Old Trafford. I mean, I didn't go this time. I went to the one last year, and they were celebrating the loss of the Munich disaster situation. So they had a very good service outside the stadium, which I went to last year. But no, I didn't go this time, but I watched it on TV. It was disappointing, but Manchester United, they're up there about third or fourth now, aren't they? So they're doing pretty well. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so before the game, I listened to some analysis on, one of these podcast. I can't remember if it was Wayne Rooney and one other. Anyway, they said Manchester United would be capitalizing on fatigue of the Crystal Palace players, because they had that game on Thursday. They were in Europe on Thursday, and I thought, okay, this is something that we've talked about before, with the advantages and disadvantages of being in Europe. And then the other one was after the game, Bruno Fernandes was saying, they got a hug. He got a hug, or he got given a hug by Dean Henderson, and
I saw that.
Yeah, and while he was being asked, afterwards, and he said, well, I think they've studied me. They've studied the way that I play my penalties. He said, but I decided to still surprise them. And Dean Henderson confirmed the action. And I thought, so they actually is all this tactical analysis, studying, but how would they know that they was going to be awarded a penalty and he was going to be the one to take the penalty? It could have been Bueno, it could have been anybody. Do they then prepare for all these eventualities or all these scenarios involving all the strikers? Is that how it goes?
Yeah, I mean, Fernandes is their regular penalty taker. Right, I think this season he scored 2. He scored 3 now with the one the other day, and missed 2. So, but goalkeepers right across not just the Premier League but all the leagues, they study the regular penalty takers, and they know. For example, in the FA Cup final, which, as you know, Palace won last year, Dean Henderson we were playing against Manchester City. Now they got a penalty in the second half, and we were still 1-0 up. So our hearts sank. But it was like scoring another goal. When Henderson saved the penalty, it really was as good as being a goal scorer, because he stopped it becoming 1-1, and who knows where it might have gone after that. But he said afterwards, when they got the penalty, he said as soon as Haaland, he gave the ball to someone else. I can't remember who actually took it. I should remember. He said, I gave the Mamouche. Was it Mamouche? Okay, he said, well, I gave the ball, and it was strange because Haaland was their regular penalty taker, and our man Henderson.
say hello to old Mimi, Dr. Gladys and Rose, 3 beautiful ladies who join us on our shows. There's one other bro, sometimes joins us on the show.
And our man Henderson, he knows the penalty takers which side they tend to go. That doesn't guarantee they will, but they usually do. But even when it went to Marmouche, he said, I knew which way he was going to kick it, because obviously he'd seen him do penalties before. They all look at videos before games. He said, I really thought I'd save it because I knew where he was going to go, and sure enough, he did. It's like every other part of football in the Premier League and other leagues. They have to look at every conceivable way of finding an extra 1%, because teams largely these days cancel each other out. I mean, take last night. We know Liverpool are near the top, doing much better in recent months. We know Wolves are right on the bottom. And what happens last night? Wolves beat Liverpool 2-1. And indeed, a few weeks ago at Palace, we lost to Burnley, who since then have done a bit better against other clubs. So teams, to a large extent, do cancel each other out. Obviously, the top teams have got more money to buy much better players and so on. So even so, teams have to look, coaches have to look for the 1% differences, one of which is the goalkeepers research penalty takers. And they look at corners, they look at set pieces. So, yeah, it's very much more an exact science nowadays. I mean, they all wear these things at top, a bit like a bra, isn't it? Where there's a lot of things being measured, the distance they run, and all sorts of other things, their heart rates and presumably their blood pressure. So everything is monitored by the medical staff and so on. And they get them as fit as they can possibly be. But they look for those 1%. So what can we do to actually get a slight edge on somebody else? And one of those things is that goalkeepers are very well versed in where a particular penalty taker is likely to put the ball. And of course, the other thing about that, Henderson was at Manchester United before he came to Palace. We got him from Palace a couple of years ago. He completed his 100 games, I think, in the foreign game. I can't remember recently anyway. But I think he would have known Fernandes from then, and they were sort of walking off arm in arm almost, weren't they? And I imagine discussing the penalty. Why did you put it there? I thought you were going to go the other side, and all this stuff. But no, they're good mates, and I thought the game was played in a pretty good spirit, with the exception, I have to say, of but maybe I don't like singling people out, and I've always thought Harry Maguire, he's a pretty good player. I think he's past his best, but he's a pretty good, reliable defender. But there was one incident, and I don't like it when any player in any team tries to get someone else sent off. It's just not the thing to do. But they're professionals. They should at least respect that. It's a tough game and so on. But
say hello to old Mimi, Dr. Gladys and Rose, three beautiful ladies who join us on our shows. There's one other bro, sometimes joins us on the show.